You guys are all Republican or conservative bloggers?
Yes.
Okay. Is there much crossover between, conservative and liberal bloggers? Are there like blogging conventions where you guys can go head to head and trade blogging secrets?
we don't get together for slumber parties or anything.
No. You actually don't have to get together with other humans.
Yeah. Stay in the basements, all up tomorrow, bring down the meeting.
Exactly, like you're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Politics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, basically it's we can get together and work together on things that we care about that sort of have the same. Like there's an internet freedom bill that's up HR 1606 right now that has a lot of liberals and conservative bloggers who are all
on the same side together.
Exactly. Because we all care about that sort of issue. So.
Okay.
Sometimes we can drink together.
Yeah, we drink together a lot.
Easy pain.
Yeah.
And I know it happens every 2 years for you guys, but is the election year? You're always running for office these days, aren't you? Like you're always. There's never a point at which you're not thinking about the next campaign. Is that the case, or is that just like, is that a myth? What do you say?
We run faster in even years.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
I just arrived, so I didn't want to stop what you guys are doing. You guys answering questions?
It's going all right. We're basically trying to tell them how to connect with these sort of odd people who spend all this time writing on the internet. So.
Just imagine me as a blogger with the camera and a comedic agenda. But we'd love to talk
this guy was talking about how
Congressman.
sexy Dick Cheney was a few minutes ago. So
Which one? Who's
the one over there?
sexy Dick Cheney? He's kind of sexy because people respond to certainty. Exactly. The guy that's got the lead and how to swing it.
But seriously, Stephen Colbert is here to help promote his show. He's doing a little segment called Better Know a District. So
I don't know if you guys have seen the show. We do Better Know a District, where we're working our way through all 435, well now 434. Since California 50th is dead to me. Because of what they did to do. What did you say? Now it no longer existed to me, exactly. We've actually, on the map of the United States, we've cracked it off, sailed it out into the Pacific and blown it up because of what they did to do. The cry for help is how we see what happened with Mr. Cunningham. And we're going through every district in the United States, if only to guarantee that the show stays on for 10 years. It's really necessity being the mother of the invention, and the necessity here being I need a job. And we would love to talk to any one of your congressmen. And you guys can say what the subjects you'd like us to talk about or anything. We want to do every district in the United States. And we'll talk to anybody. We've had a great time with Jack Kingston, we had a great time with John Micah, and we're just stuck with Democrats most of the time because I can only shoot on Fridays. So we end up doing mostly New York people. But my character is a staunch fan of the president and of the Republican objectives, and so I really love to talk to some Republicans too. And I'm not an assassin. I'm a nice guy. I'm not Ali G. I'm not nearly as hip. And I don't just wear Brooks Brothers shoes, regimental striped ties. I grew up with them. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I go to church. I teach Sunday school. I have family values. Come on, talk to me, please. I beg you.
Any questions?
Yes. Any questions? Yes, sir.
This goes back to something you said earlier. How do we prepare our bosses for when they come on your show so that you don't rip them a new one?
I would say the most important thing about going on any comedy show for your boss, because I know politicians increasingly will reach out not only to the shows like mine or John's that actually has a political bent, but any one of the comedy shows, is to come on as yourself. Don't necessarily come on with loaded for comedic bear. Maybe have a bit or two, or some prepared thing you guys are going to succeed with, but differentiate between that and the person. So, an example would be we went on Letterman. Bring your top 10, but beyond that, just be yourself. Don't try to necessarily be funny, because you're not going to be as funny as a professional comedian. The other night I had on, who did I have on? Who was the guy? Do you remember we were talking about? It was a Porsche. it was the ports. I had on David Brooks. And David Brooks wanted to be funny. And I thought, well, one of us has got to be serious. And so I started asking him seriously about the Dubai ports deal. And I was saying, no, I agree. It's probably the right thing to do, but politically it looks terrible. You know, and the Bush administration has been so politically astute, and they've been so good about appealing to people's, in the past, people's...
It's not campaign season anymore.
People,
Now it's
yeah,
like,
I know.
People's
feelings on issues in order to get, the agenda they want. They also feel it's the right thing to do, but they first appeal to how it looks. Why would they drop the ball? And he wouldn't admit that there was anything wrong with this politically, that it didn't look bad, because he wanted to seem like, well, that didn't concern him, and he wanted to sort of stay funny. But then it became a contentious conversation because he wouldn't tell the truth, he wanted to stay funny. So whenever politicians go on these shows, they still kind of say what they mean at times. It really helps. Because certainly on my show, when I have a guest on, I want people to be able to say what they mean. I react off of it, but they should. I'm not an assassin. I want people to be able to say, what they think is best for our country.
The fear factor. You just have to overcome the fear factor among members of Congress.
I would remember that you people have a 99% retention rate. And then we have to catch you loving a hobo or something, I think, this is one of the few places, I don't really know Washington. I'm not a political person. I'm a comedian. Politics happens to be the fodder of my comedy. But it seems to me that so much of what happens in political life now is having to control your image and having to put forth the right face. I'm sure you guys feel that all the time. I would look at going on comedy or a comedy show as an opportunity to really not have to worry about that. Because there isn't necessarily a consequence to being silly on a silly show. Being silly on something important, yes. Trying to be too important on something silly. But if you're silly on something silly, or if you acknowledge that this is going to be, all for fun, then I don't think there's anything to worry about. Then you'll just seem like somebody who has a sense of humor. But also keep in mind that this is one place that if you can acknowledge and understand that this is not supposed to have any political consequences, it won't. Does that make sense, or am I making all this up? I'm serious, I'm wondering, because that's my theory about what life is like here in Washington. You guys have to keep this public face all the time. And obviously we're not recording this, we're broadcasting this. I'd really love to know what it's like to do your job for a congressman.
No.
There's a huge fear factor.
Of doing like shows like mine, or basically controlling the image of a congressman?
About humor in Washington. Washington is pretty humorless.
Isn't there a contest every year, like who's the funniest person in Washington?
It's so sad.
It's like always like Norm Ornstein, Ariana Huffington, something like that.
Comedy is backstage in Washington. People get really nervous if it's...
You hear all the time like, oh, he's hilarious, like when you're with him. But he's like politicians seem like incredibly dour in public.
Fear factor.
Why is there such a fear factor? Because comedy plays with status. Like, you have to be able to surrender your high status position to be funny and maybe sometimes be the fool.
A 30-second commercial.
Oh, someone's going to pluck this out and use it in a commercial?
Yeah, but it
Really?
depends on your boss.
Do you think somebody would actually pull like 30 seconds off of my show and go, in this important venue, listen to what he said? Really? Wouldn't that make the person who made the commercial seem stupider? Because the person who are like, this person can't tell the difference between comedy and reality. On game floating. I'll write that one for you.
I think that there's a fear that a 30-second clip from your show of our boss completely tanking on a joke could get segmented out and make its way across every blog.
Well, I would recommend your boss not joke. That your boss actually say, like, do you guys see Jerry Nadler when he was on the other day? It's like, he didn't joke, and I really think, if you look at that, I mean, I'd say that the biggest thing is, oh, you have a girlfriend? Like, the whole thing. I look like an idiot. I mean, really, my objective, my character is I describe him habitually as a well-intentioned, poorly informed, high-status idiot. I go in as if we're equals, but I prove that I'm not by knowing nothing about the person. So Nadler doesn't come up looking bad there. I look like an idiot. He gets across his points about how he feels about the Patriot Act or whatever it is. And the juxtaposition between those things is what makes it funny.
But see, he stumbled on the girlfriend thing. He said that and you just jumped all over it.
Well, true, but I know, but don't you think anybody believes Jerry Nadler's got the girl on the side? I mean, that would be a plus. That is kind of cool, man. Like,
you know, to be serious for all you guys too, Bill, from Jack Kingston again. One thing important to know, especially about this show, is like you said, he's not out to get you. What you see is what you get. You sit down for an interview. It's not cut up. It's not Ali G. It's not punked. It's just what you see. It's not.
yes, believe it or not, Jack Kingston was willing to accept the idea that he was an African American.
Most of our staff, I mean, we're all big fans. I mean,
And the other thing is, and I don't know if anybody else, has anyone else ever done a show like this or anything? How many people have ever had someone in the supermarket walk up to their boss and say, you know, I saw you on Fox News Weekend with John Gibson, and that thing you said about the port, that was so insightful. Right, never. Right? But we can't go anywhere without someone saying, you on Colbert, funniest thing I ever seen. We still do. I mean, 5 months later, it is, you know, it just gives you that I'm a real person sort of.
Well, just Derek PRC, just to support that, a lot of you guys know Flake went on the Daily Show last year, and he played it straight, and he's a funny guy in general, but he did an awesome job because they just played off of that, and it didn't hurt him. And, you know, secondly, your opponent has enough fodder to attack you. They're not going to use the clips off of his show to do it. The guys like Flake that step up to do it get tons of positive media from it. So if Flake did it, I think more guys should do it. You should.
And by the way, I get asked all the time to help Democratic candidates, and I refuse. Like, it does me no good to help Democrats. I have no political ambitions for anybody.
So in short, it's an opportunity for your boss to look good and you to be like.
And not the idiot I want to be. Just stupid enough.
Hey guys, it's important to keep in mind that this is the audience that watches Colbert, right? So I mean, everyone, you know, it's a niche audience. We're under 30. You know, we kind of get it that it's kind of funny and hip and stuff like that. So just keep that.
We have the youngest average demographic of any late night show. Better than anyone. Leno, Letterman, Conan, even better than John, but none of that. And we also get more people from 18 to 24 than any other show. I mean, even network shows. And more than 18 to 34 than anybody but Leno and Conan.
If they would like to do the show, who should they contact?
Emily Lazara Booker. You can contact Jeff Cooperman right here. Nicole Savini.
David has my email.
David will put out.
David has all the information over there. And okay, fine. Yes.
I think that the more that it's on, people see it, the more Republicans will get. But since you're here on Fridays, is there any way to just pop into an office and, you know, meet the staff and, you know, yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of jammed usually when we're here on Fridays. But, you know, maybe, you know, in April also, we have a break. And I was thinking of just coming down here like midweek to get a chance to meet some people when you guys are in. But in terms of like just saying hi, I'd be happy to do that. But we really, like on best days, we're trying to knock off 4 in a day.
Okay. So I know that I've gotten 2 calls from your producer, and it's like I go to the chief of staff then, and it's, you know, relaying a message, and I'm trying to pitch it, but it's like he needs to, I think it would help if he actually heard the message himself.
I understand, sure. I'd be happy to, yeah. Who do you work for?
And Northup.
Oh, sorry, Louisville, Kentucky.
Stephen, we should get.
We should, okay. Is there any other, I mean, before we go, just like, anybody, or is that pretty much?
Who's on tap today?
One more.
Your show is like a springboard to the Daily Show.
What did you say? No, actually, no. John hates like that. It's like, we'll pass on the phone number, but you gotta do it. Yes?
Number 1 question.
Bears, obviously. Sure. Oh, from Bill Kinsella. Sphere.
As as we get ready, the next and last panel we have is some of your colleagues who are doing the blog thing, and so you get to hear some ideas and best practices and things that maybe you've actually taken. So give it a second to reconfigure and be ready to go.
All right, Stephen Colbert.
And
wait.
support for ecology. Come on, play the music.